This is Dimitri Lascaris coming to you from the neighborhood of Sheikh Jarrah in occupied East Jerusalem on March 11th, 2024. I'm currently standing in the front yard of the home of Mohammed El-Kurd and his family. The El-Kurd family here in Sheikh Jarrah has a home that has been under threat of confiscation by Jewish Israeli settlers for some time now. Mohammed has become an activist of international renown because he and his family have vigorously and steadfastly resisted under considerable forms of intimidation attempts to confiscate not only the family home but also the homes of other Palestinians who have lived here for many years in the neighborhood of Sheikh Jarrah. Unfortunately, Mohammed is not here today, nor is his father, who is an a fluent English speaker. But I happened to speak with Mohammed's sister, Maha, and through her broken English, she kindly authorized me to begin my report here in the front yard of the family home. She explained to me that she gave me some details which I'm going to share with you in a moment. The street that the home is situated on is called Othman Bin Affan Street. And this, as I've indicated, is not the only home that is under threat. And by the way, if you don't recognize the person in the image behind me, that is an image of Shireen Abu Akleh, the Palestinian American journalist from Al Jazeera who was shot dead last year by an Israeli sniper. And the Israeli military ultimately conceded that she had been killed by a bullet fired by an Israeli sniper, even though it initially insisted that her death was caused by an errant bullet shot by Palestinian militants. So I'm just going to step out onto the street here and show you a little bit of what's going on. So behind me, you will see an Israeli flag on a home. This home, let me move over here so you can get a better view of it. This home was owned and occupied by Palestinian residents until 2009, when it was confiscated by Jewish Israeli settlers. I believe that happened pursuant to a court order of the Jerusalem District Court. And then there's another home next to it, right here behind me, which also is under threat, although the Palestinian family has not been expelled from that home. And I also understand that this home behind me there, looks like bright, sort of faded yellow exterior walls, is under threat as well. And those aren't the only homes that are under threat here on Othman Bin Affan Street. So let me take you a bit further down. And you're going to see a banner with the image of the Dome of the Rock on it. Right there behind me, that too is a home occupied by Palestinians for many years that is under threat of confiscation by Jewish Israeli settlers. And I understand that this home is as well, right behind me. And I think it's fair to say that a good part of the reason why these confiscations haven't happened is because the Palestinian residents here have mounted a very effective campaign to draw the world's attention to their plight. And at least for the time being, the Israeli government has not seen fit to execute on any court orders relating to purporting to authorize the confiscation of these houses. And I want to say something as a legal matter that's very important. This is unquestionably under international law. And when I say this, I don't mean simply Sheikh Jarrah. I mean all of East Jerusalem is occupied Palestinian land. It has been formally annexed under Israeli domestic law by Israel's apartheid regime, but that is illegal as a matter of international law. That is indisputable. And in fact, this has been recognized on multiple occasions by not only the United Nations General Assembly, but also by the UN Security Council and by multiple human rights organizations, both affiliated with the UN and independent Western human rights organizations, and also Israeli human rights organizations such as B'Tselem. And because this is occupied Palestinian land, the Jerusalem court, which purported to issue orders authorizing the confiscation of these homes had no authority to do so. The Israeli government has no authority under international law to apply its domestic laws to occupied land and to purport to confiscate property that is owned by Palestinians. And even as a matter of domestic Israeli law, there was a considerable amount of documentary evidence presented to the Jerusalem District Court in much of this litigation, which showed that the Palestinian owners had valid title to the land. But the courts of Israel, when it comes to Palestinians, and contrary to what we're told over and over again, are not truly courts of law governed by due process. They're more in the nature of kangaroo courts, and oftentimes will even flout Israeli domestic law in order to achieve a desired outcome, which is the relentless dispossession of the Palestinian people from the land that is rightfully theirs. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about today, it's something that I learned yesterday upon my arrival in Palestine, which is related indirectly to the injustices that are happening here on Othman Bin Affan Street. And that is, the last time that I came to Israel was 2016. And at that time I had the privilege of meeting a Palestinian lawyer from occupied East Jerusalem by the name of Muhammad Alayan. And Mr. Alayan at the time was struggling to recover the body of his son, who had been shot dead by Israeli soldiers in an alleged attack by the son and other Palestinian militants on settlers in East Jerusalem. And I interviewed Mr. Alayan, and he explained to me that he didn't believe the allegations against his son. He had demanded that his son's body be produced for forensic examination after his son was killed and the allegations were leveled against his son. The Israelis refused to produce the body. This was a common practice with respect to young Palestinians whom Israeli forces had killed on the pretext that they had been engaged in acts of terrorism. And so he became a representative, Muhammad Alayan, of various families who were in a similar predicament, Palestinian families from East Jerusalem who were trying to recover the bodies of children killed by Israeli forces on the claim that they had been involved in some terrorist activity. And when it became apparent to the Israeli authorities, this is what Muhammad Alayan related to me, and I found him to be entirely credible, very soft-spoken, answered readily any questions that I asked. When it became apparent to the Israeli authorities that he, as the representative of these families, was not going to accede to their demands, which was that the bodies be buried within 24 hours of being handed over to the families, and that it be done at night and only with a limited number of people present, the Israeli authorities, according to Muhammad Alayan, retaliated by destroying his family home, leaving him, his wife, and I believe 9 of his surviving children homeless. Why do I mention this story? Well, I should actually, before I tell you why I mention this story now, also say that when I recounted this via social media, what I had been told by Muhammad Alayan back in 2016, I was the justice critic in the shadow cabinet of the Green Party. And immediately upon my publishing my commentary, and in my commentary, I condemned the demolition of the Alayan home, because whatever the son may have done, and this is what I made clear at the time, the collective punishment of the family was unjust and a flagrant violation of international law. And there was absolutely no reason why Muhammad, his spouse, and their children should be rendered homeless because of an alleged crime committed by the son. So upon my making these public statements and condemning the behavior of the Israeli government, B'nai B'rith Canada produced a dossier, what it purported to be a dossier to Elizabeth May, the leader of the Green Party, which they claimed showed that I was a supporter of terrorism. They then went public with their allegation. This precipitated a lawsuit, which resulted ultimately, a lawsuit by me asserting defamation, which resulted ultimately in a settlement and the retraction of the statements made by B'nai B'rith, amongst other terms of the settlement. So that kind of was a bridge under the water for me personally, but when I arrived here, I learned that Muhammad Alayan has been thrown into jail. And he's been there for 3 months, and according to reliable sources, he is being held in absolutely abominable conditions. He is suffering from beatings of some kind. I don't have the details, but apparently he's been subjected to physical abuse. He's not being given adequate health care. He's not being given adequate food. And apparently these are generalized conditions in Israeli jails, particularly at this time since the attacks of October 7th. So I, in whatever capacity I can and to whatever extent I can, I want to draw attention to the injustices being inflicted yet again upon the Alayan family. And if I have any opportunity whatsoever, I doubt that one will be afforded to me, but if I were given an opportunity to interview Muhammad Alayan in prison, I would happily do so, and I'll do what I can in order to secure that opportunity. In the interim, my reporting from occupied Palestine will continue. For today, that's all, and I'm signing off. Thank you.